Hi there, welcome to another edition of AAU Talks on AAU TV. Today, I'll be your host. My name is Asefuah, and today we'll be discussing STEM versus STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics versus the traditional science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. With me to discuss this topic in the studio is Mr. Eyram Akofa Tawia. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we'll be discussing this issue today, but to begin with, we'll go on a break and we'll delve into the issue shortly.
The facilities at Strathmore University are top class. Believe it or not, one of my favorite places is the library.
We have a lot of audiovisual materials, CDs, DVDs, and then we also have a multimedia lab. Again, the idea being that the resources that we offer, you need a place where you can actually view them. What you might not see, but is actually very available, is a very rich collection of electronic resources. We have fantastic wireless connection. So if you have your own laptop, you can actually come in your phone, for example, you can access the internet, access the resources. It's really rich. I mean, ebooks, a lot of journals, articles, peer-reviewed, and even just stuff for personal reading and entertainment.
There are incredible resources when conducting research and projects. And just so you feel like a break from the library, you can always hang out in the student center with friends, grab a coffee or soda and have discussions. All of this with wireless internet connectivity 24/7.
A good institution, and especially university, needs to give students their space where they excel, where they are entrepreneurial. For that matter, we have always thought that the idea of building a student center was fundamental. All right, in it we'll have incubators, we'll have the student activities, we'll have the eateries, we'll have the places where they meet and group work, socialize with lecturers, all that sort of stuff, discuss things with people.
I was really impressed by the whole lecture room experience of Strathmore, especially the class design. The rooms are really bright and welcoming, which I think is really good for group discussions, and the fact that they're so small in size guarantees that you'll get personal attention from the lecturers.
I don't think I can readily think of anything that Strathmore does not offer. Especially when it comes to computing facilities. I particularly like doing research in one of the many computer labs in the campus.
Welcome back to another edition of AAU Talks on AAU TV. And as I said earlier, my guest is Mr. Eyram Akofa Tawia. He's the CEO of Leti Arts and the co-founder of STEAM Africa. Now, Mr. Eyram, can you please share with me and our viewers what exactly you do?
Yes, so I'm the CEO of Leti Arts, which is a video game development company in Africa, first in Sub-Saharan Africa.
Yes.
So we are in Ghana and Kenya.
Okay.
My co-founder is Kenyan.
Okay.
So we actually build games based on African history and folklore.
Okay.
And our initiative is also to introduce game development on the continent.
Yes.
Because you don't find it anywhere. It's not a profession which even our institutions teach.
Yes.
So our company, it's like a first mover of the game development initiative. So currently we've been building superheroes. We have a superhero franchise called Africa's Legends, made up of villains and heroes. So we have heroes that represent issues on the continent. So you can find all types of issues with like a villain. So we have warlords, we have corrupt pastors, corrupt presidents, corrupt religious leaders, corrupt parliament. Like all these guys are villains, and we have heroes. And the heroes are strategically based on actual factual heroes as well as fantasized heroes. So we have Mandela, Yasantua, Mansa Musa, Shaka Zulu, all these characters packaged in nice forms, similar to Marvel's Thor, Avengers, Black Panther, actually. So we are basically Black Panther, doing Black Panther
which
from
is
Africa.
Really Africa.
Actually.
Yes, that is fine. That is fine. Now, what about STEAM Africa? How does that come in as well?
Yes. So we've been doing this for quite some time, and we identified that the major problem in game development is skill set. Games, in the field of games is the only field that brings all skill sets together. So it marries arts and science together to produce a game. So you have games, you make games with extreme programming skills, extreme artistic skills, extreme writing skills, music, poetry, like all the skill sets come together. And it is only in games that you see people writing titles like artificial intelligence, or maybe character modeler with this and that and that. And these create new professions. And when you go to where the gaming industry is booming, there are full-time jobs, well-paid jobs people are engaging in, and that is what they do full-time. I've met architects who have never built a building in real life, but have built in about 100 games, because people buy their 3D models and then they make use of it in video games. I've met artists who have never made a billboard or a magazine design in life, but they make advertisements within video games. So you play your FIFA, EA FIFA game, and you see them wearing Emirates, the jerseys, all those things are created by someone. So the gaming field brings the virtual, like the second life, to reality. So you can be here in real life and still be making money in the virtual world. And that is what Leti Arts brings. And it's an initiative of STEAM, because we try to marry arts and science to create new opportunities. And it also creates the exposure for arts or artists to see the possibilities of their skill sets in the technical field as well.
That is true. Because almost every time there seems to be a vast difference between the arts and the sciences. But it's actually supposed to be together.
It's supposed to be together. And you know, one of the things in STEAM, you know, STEM is the discipline. So eventually we know that we need more engineers. That one is a fact. Africa needs more engineers. But as much as we need engineers or technical field workers, arts form 80% even in those disciplines. Because in engineering, you need design. And you know, there is this argument. Those who preach STEM, which is a discipline, are like, oh, there is arts incorporated in there. So it's the conscious effort to make people go into the nitty-gritties of there's like the technicalities. But you can't put a discipline there and force people to just join. You need to have a fun way or an indirect way to get people
interested in that.
So as much as STEM is important, which is an established discipline, STEAM is the vehicle. It's like a movement, a conscious movement saying that we need to put the arts into STEM. So STEAM is like the vehicle that's going to drive people into the technical field.
Yes.
Yes, and that is why we started STEAM Africa.
Okay.
And with STEAM Africa, our tagline is mostly demystifying STEM.
Okay. Okay.
A writer is also an engineer.
That is true.
That is our tagline.
That is true.
So you can see people now are like, oh, I'm STEM. You know, people on STEM scholarships, oh, STEM. Yes, and everything is as if you are a writer or an artist, you are not important.
That is true.
So as much as it's true, or it's a fact that we need technical people and supporting STEM, you need to marry the two.
Okay.
Because Africa has the arts established. You need to indirectly lure the artist into the technical field and create a sense of belonging to the technical product. Okay. So if you create an iPhone or an iPad, I, as the artist who designed the phone, should still feel that I know the technicalities that go into it. Well. So it's a holistic approach, and that is why we are preaching STEAM Africa.
That is nice. That is very wonderful and eye-opening. I'm glad to have you here to discuss this issue. Now, why is it important that we discuss STEAM at this particular moment in Africa's education? Why should we talk about it?
Because it's necessary, yes, and because that is where the world is going getting to. We are in the period of the tech industry rising.
Yes.
So it's a whole new revolution, and the educational institutions should be able to grab it at a point. And we know that a lot of the technical universities in Africa are still struggling in terms of equipment or even getting intake of students interested in technical courses.
Very much so.
And the lecturers and the trainers and facilitators are also not having that kind of exposure or equipment to also get the students interested in the technical courses. Yes. So as much as people are preaching STEAM, the approach is still not getting anywhere. And you and I know that since the late 2000s, we've been discussing STEM, and it's not getting anywhere. But we know that there are excellent social scientists, politicians, we have marketers, like our arts, it's remarkable.
Very much so.
Legon is all arts, almost all. KNUSC is becoming an arts institution now, which is supposed to be a technical institution. But the lawyer or the politician or the psychologist there has no clue that he can work with a programmer or computer scientist mixed up with an MBA student to even commercialize their product or psychology discipline. And that is what STEAM does. STEAM preaches collaboration and balancing of skill sets in order to achieve a technical goal, which is a STEM product. You understand?
Yes,
so it is important for our educators to embrace STEAM in order to lure the art students into the technicalities. So, for example, I graduated, I built a game, and I was the first to do in KNUSC in computer science. And I remember in my thesis, I actually recommended that the KNUSC should encourage interdepartmental projects. So I'm a computer scientist, I'm building a game. I definitely need an artist from College of Art to build my models for me. I definitely need a student from music department to compose my sounds for me.
This is true.
I definitely need an MBA student to manage me because I'm a technical person. I need a manager. I definitely need a legal student or a lawyer to actually
give you legal advice.
Do the legal advice and the IP issues. And the university is the best place with all those institutions at the same time with thousands of students in each department. So why should I struggle to start a company after I have left university, whilst I can start the company whilst I'm in the university? So my project was a team-based collaboration, and I even made recommendations that they should find ways to credit those students who chipped into my project. I did the programming. I basically simulated the story, but I made a case that the story is being written by an English student or a creative arts student. And that is how games are made, from different skill sets. And trust me, all those who participated in that project knew the technical details that went into the program. After I had finished, including my dad, who was a lecturer then in College of Art. He knew everything
that went into it
about the project. And that is the same model that we are using to run STEAM Africa now. Trying to encourage, instill confidence in all those disciplines. So this is the time for the educational institution to actually embrace STEAM.
I really like the approach of using various students from various colleges, because we can't work in silos. As we come out as a person, if you're coming out with a product, you definitely need a team around you, and the institution is the best place, as you said, to find people who would be able to help you and assist you with this. Now, who else would it affect if we are able to elevate, be able to make STEAM important? Who else do you think would be affected by it?
Everyone, you and I. It will affect the students, lecturers, even sellers on the streets. Trust me. One example, you see someone making good palm wine at a brewery, and you are a programmer. You know there's demand for palm wine in restaurants, right? So you tell the supplier that I'm going to sell your palm wine for you. I'm going to make a website for you. Then after building it, you need an artist to make the UI, so you look for an artist. And that artist who can be a wayside person that you train to understand how to draw the palm wine, tapa and all that. Automatically he gets exposed, or it can be a professional. Anyway, it's the same. Then you get a marketer. Someone, after you build a product, someone has to go and sell it to the customers. And you need a manager. So you look for a CEO. So you walk to MBA, Legon, or
any other institution.
So that's how you start. You try to marry arts and science. So automatically, I've been able to create a product that would sell someone's palm wine in the restaurant. And you can see the chain and the beneficiaries. I benefit, that person benefits, and the restaurant also benefits. Another example is my wife sells kente now. So what I've said, I'm not only saying it, I'm living it. Like, this is my life. I do this all the time. So we were invited to a kente festival, to come and chair a kente festival in her village. Then we saw them beautiful kente. But you see the village, it's like you can't, the quality that is producing, you can't measure it or marry it, or with the state of the village. So we are like, no, how can we help or sell this so that it will bring good revenues to the weavers and make them happy, because they are so struggling. Suddenly we just created an Instagram account, Instagram page, and trust me, now people, like, we are selling the kente under Prestige Kente on Insta, and people are ordering, and the weavers back in the village are happy because they have work almost every week.
Every time.
They are working, and that is how to create value. So you use your technical knowledge and to marry it with the existing, like the actual source. And the education institutions should be doing this. And they should be owning the processes, because this is what we want to document. We want to document.
Wow, that is very wonderful. And congratulations on helping the Kente weavers in the village. Wow. So, can STEAM be used as a vehicle to encourage STEM? You've already mentioned it, but I wanted to really get into the nitty-gritties and how it can be used to do that.
Yes, I think it's the vehicle to encourage STEM. If you look at the structure of STEAM Africa, the curriculum that I developed, I built a curriculum based on a prolonged internship period that I've run within Leti Arts. So since Leti Arts started in 2009, the first 2 years we identified that skill set was a problem.
Yes.
People, there were excellent artists, excellent programmers, but they couldn't make games. Okay. So we bring you there into Leti, and then we train you, and you get to know how to make games. Okay. So we build the curriculum, and that is based on exposure. Coming into an industry, seeing that, hey, this guy has made this, and he's here with me. Yes. And he's making a game, and I'm part of making this game. So I'm going to learn. So you see that exposes them and generates interest. Yes. So they get, and they are not judged based on their skill set. So an artist is kept as an artist. If the artist doesn't know even coloring, so there are some illustrators who are concept artists. They can only sketch very well in pencil stroke, but they can't color. Yes. You don't stigmatize, like you tell them, okay, you find someone who can color very well, and then they do the concept art, and you give it to the coloring artist, and continues. They color. Wow. So we dealt with students all over, KNUST, Ashesi, like all these students come in for internships, and I train them in that process, making a game. So even designing the artwork for a game. And suddenly they see their characters moving on the screen. Yes. And the programmer also programs, and it's like, wow, the thing is moving. So that generates interest. The visual aspect of the science generates interest. So there is attention, there is full attention. Then the next bit is the industry. Okay. So after they learn all these technical skills, you expose them to the industry. Okay. That look, when you go to Finland or US, the gaming industry is bigger than the movie and the music industry combined. Which is true. Which is generating billions of dollars. But Africa is black. So all those revenues, Africa is not contributing any yet. And we are 1 billion people on this continent. So you tell them the possibility. Imagine the game you've built. MTN is everywhere. Vodafone is like telcos are coming onto the continent. Infrastructure is working. 3G, 4G, 5G is coming. Like internet speed. So imagine all this infrastructure built for you. What will ride on it? Your game will ride on it. And this is how much money you can generate. Wow. Instantly, they know that they are not wasting their time. So there's opportunity for the games to be built. Then after that, I do something called Count Your Blessings. Count Your Blessings looks at your strengths, which STEAM does. STEAM is a strength heightening discipline. So if you are a good poet or a good writer, we make you stick to that and grow your skill in your field. Then we get someone as well who is great at programming or another thing. And in games, we need programmers. Even programming, they are special. They are different, of course. Of course. Different fields. Art as well. Sound. Sometimes I look at musicians in Ghana who are struggling, and I marvel because you need to make a show or organize a show before you make. You are able to make some money because you can't track the number of times they even play music. I went to a game conference in Finland, and they were awarding someone a lifetime award. His music has been played 5 billion times since he made it within games, and they're able to know that this sound is from this guy. And they awarded him a lifetime achievement award. So musicians, so people come to Leti from computer science, and I make them do only music because that is their passion. That is what they are in their rooms trying to compose. Yes, it's true. I was in the university choir. Our organist was an engineering student. Smart guy, but he plays organ even better than Beethoven. And my thesis, the sounds of my thesis, he made them for me. And if you listen to those sounds, he played everything himself. Took it into the computer and did the the effects and all those things.
Wow.
And this is a creative talent, but he was reading electrical engineering, which he did very well in as well. But his passion is music.
Yes.
So you come into a team and you try to express your creativity. So you can see how I've named all these disciplines.
Yes.
Then one of the things I do is I make one of your team members behave like the consumer.
Okay.
He is the one going to play your game.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to know whatever
everything
you guys
exactly
will do. He will just think out of the box in the creative aspect that I want my game to look like this. I want the game to be like that. I want the game. And then you try to build a game
suiting
for him.
Wow.
And if he loves it, it means people like him become your customer segment.
Exactly.
I get it. So that is what I do during my internship. And I've elevated this curriculum into STEAM Africa.
Okay.
So with STEAM Africa boot camps,
wow,
everyone tries to live this kind of structure.
Yes.
And it's very engaging,
very much
very, very, very exposing. Like people who go through that really unlock
a lot of potential
and other perspectives from their mind. So that is the vehicle to STEM.
Wow.
So you can say everyone is doing
something,
but they are involved in the technical process.
Totally.
Even the consumer who does nothing, it's mentioning the technicalities. I want my game to jump like Super Mario.
Exactly.
I want him to kick the ball like Asian in FIFA.
Yes.
You know, he's looking he knows what he wants.
Exactly.
So it's a holistic approach, and trust me, after you finish that sort of clinic, you get at least 3 or 4 people telling you that they are going to read, and like maybe he came in as a sound engineer, but he's been fascinated by the AI, the one who did the AI or the mathematics or the physics bit of the game. So he'll tell you that, oh, I think I would like do physics when I go to the university. Wow. So that is like a model to actually encourage people to do STEM. So this is a typical example of how STEAM can be used as a vehicle into STEM.
That's just fine. Yeah. Wow. So we'll go on a short on a break, and we'll come back and discuss which stakeholders we need to make this happen. Okay. So viewers, we'll be with you shortly. Okay. Welcome back, Africa, to this edition of AAU Talks on AAU TV. You can follow us on Facebook and post your comments in the comments part of this post. we'll go back into our discussion with Mr. Eyram Tawia, who is the CEO of Leti Arts and the co-founder of STEAM Africa. Now, Mr. Eyram, we were talking about how STEAM can be used as a vehicle to drive STEM, and we're also going to talk about which stakeholders you think are necessary or are key in order to make this work.
Okay, so for me, I believe that people may not agree, but I feel that the individual who finds himself in a position of power in an educational institution, not at the very, very top, but you command a group, even if you are a group leader in a choir or a church, like anyone who has some form of power to make a difference should be the first stakeholder before the organization and before government and policy. The reason being that taking lecturers, for instance, almost every lecturer I meet has studied outside. Yes. I had a chance to study at Dartmouth for 6 weeks as a Mandela Washington Fellow. Yes. And trust me, the facilities and the way topics are taught or are delivered, trust me, it's very different. Wow. And automatically you get exposed to a lot of things and you can do more. Yes. It's delivered in chunks. You consume, you go and do research and you come back. When you get back here, you don't have to change back to what you experienced before. You need to make that difference. Yes. And you need to live it. And for me, the way I'm living it is what I expect lecturers to also live it with their students. Okay. It doesn't matter. I admire lecturers who call me before internship. They call me personally and say, Eyram, I'm sending 3 people to Leti Arts. Because when they came back, what they showed us was amazing. Wow. And trust me, anyone who comes within our circles goes back not the same. Wow. And if this can happen at the lecturer level, trust me, small boot camps, project works, collaboration, encourage them, go and talk to School of Engineering about this, go and talk to this about this. And strangely, I don't know if, because I was born on a university campus. Okay. I was born on KNUST campus. Okay. Right. Okay. And I lived my life looking for gadgets in different departments. Yes. So I'm trying to build a robot. I know physics department has a motor or a transmitter or a capacitor. Yes. Because my science book tells me look for a capacitor. It's not that I even understand the thing. I just want to build a transmitter. Yes. And the circuit diagram tells me that if you follow this, it will be a transmitter. True. So I start scouting from department. I need capacitor. But then I still get them. Yes. So that sort of encouraging people to work together is the first point of change. And the stakeholder there is the lecturer. Okay. Then the top. When you do that, you cannot expose recommendations to the vice chancellors. Yes, please. Because for me, as a private company, I'm doing this to bridge the gap between academia and industry. Okay. And trust me, there are hundreds of me willing to do that.
Very much so.
You understand? But the internal structure of what I'm describing has to work. Then our efforts would be high, like minimized, and their willingness to come to us would be better.
You meet each other halfway.
We'll meet each other halfway. Wow. So lecturers expose to them that, look, this is what my students have been like. They've been able to make a smart traffic light. They've been able to build a house nurse robot. Yes. This is how I did it. So I have one student in MBA. He's very good. Okay. He can sell this. He can do this. Then the vice chancellor also tries to see whether it aligns with the curriculum. Everyone is being taught equally. Then he can also, because he's also been exposed. Yes. They know, they have partnerships with outside universities. Then you start transforming the education institutions. Okay. Then you can start recommending research in those fields as well. So when that happens, we, those who want to partner educational institutions to make things happen, for instance, we have a game that we are building. we want to make people know about farming.
Okay.
I want you to be able to farm without even seeing the actual crop, but you know every technicality about
farming,
about the process.
Okay.
So there was a game something ago called Farmville.
Okay.
Made by
Farmville.
Zynga.
Yes, Zynga games.
Was generating, so like people had acres of corn field online virtually. Yes. You see people waking up 3 a.m. just watering their corn or harvesting it and selling it because they want to make, and it's all virtual money and it's happening in the mind. And that game automatically makes you know about how the seasons of corn and all that. The same thing. Why can't agric students or every student have a virtual farm if you become a KNUST student?
Yes.
And your task is you wake up or you just have to water it, and automatically you can be harvesting, because when you start the farm, a farmer somewhere on an actual land starts planting for you.
Okay.
You understand? And by the time there's harvest time, let's say you've paid mobile money 10 cedi for 1 bag of tomatoes. So they will actually send you that bag of tomatoes. Okay. You understand? Or you can even use your agric department. They can have the school farms, because the universities have land. These are innovative ways to actually get people interested in disciplines that don't look cool.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. So these are initiatives, and industry can provide that.
Very much so.
There's also people doing fintech. Like right now, I can buy MTN shares just using the mobile money prompt and without going to the bank. Like it's all the like I've been cashless for the past 2 years.
Okay.
If you look in my wallet, I have no cash. Everything is virtual.
Virtual, yes.
Right. I've been totally cashless. I go to Medina, I sit in car, I go to Peki without having actual car. I pay driver with mobile money.
Wow.
I get to Asikuma, I ask the taxi driver, would you take me to here? I pay mobile money.
Wow.
It's a conscious effort to actually embrace technology. You understand? So these are ways that we can make a difference and not blame any organization. Once that happens, policy will drop down from government, because government cannot make the policy and we are not living it. That is what is happening now. There's a disconnect between the policy that are made and the attitude and the culture of the people. So you find that disconnect. But if the culture starts changing, then the policies will now be aligned
in order to make
it happen.
Yes, wow. Yes. That is very wonderful. Yes. So what opportunities do you see availing itself when we adopt STEAM?
I see unemployment getting solved if STEAM is employed. I see our GDP rising, trust me, boosting, because I think the games industry is the vacuum that has been created in Africa. Everything else has developed. Music, movies, health, like monies are being thrown into these things. But the game industry,
has not been touched,
apart from lottery, the actual game. Right? So if we embrace the gaming industry, trust me, unemployment will be solved by 90%.
Okay.
Why do I say that? You employ architects. Let's say 1,000 architects graduate every year.
Yes.
A lot of them have built serious plans, serious projects, even futuristic cities. Futuristic designs that have not been built yet, or even in the next 50 years would
still concepts.
Will still remain concepts. In games, look at the games we play. You play games like Ghost Recon, or you play games like Clash of Clans, World of Warcraft, Rise of Nations. There's a game called Rise of Nations. You start from the medieval age and rise to the future. And you can see how a nation's army would have grown by 2000 or 2030. So if you need these cities, someone has to model them, right?
Of course.
So you can go to the Department of Architecture and buy these cities. Just look at the plans that people have visualized and you are like, okay, this can make a really good game.
Yeah.
Let me get this. Or this can work in 2030 in my game. Let me get this. And that is what we are doing, right? Creating employment for those who have awesome ideas, awesome potential, and they don't know how to apply. They have no clue in applying their skill set to the various industry. So the game industry will be there to absorb all talents that do not have work now.
Yes.
We launched an app called Afro Comics just last month. And this was launched because of the fragmentation of the gaming and the creative industry on the continent.
Yes.
So as pioneers, we've encouraged other artists from all over Africa. We have some in Zimbabwe, some in Uganda, everyone making some form of game or artwork somewhere. But they are all fragmented. Even now, when you Google games from Africa, you can't find them.
You really can't find.
So Afro Comics is to bring all those creatives together. Games, wallpapers, comics, graphic novels, like everything into one app. To be the Afrocentric place, like a one-stop place for Afrocentric content.
Wow.
So I see a lot of artists, I follow them on Instagram. They have cool artworks and it's just wasting away on Instagram.
It's true.
So what Afro Comics does is, hey, you can put your artwork on Instagram, but put it on Afro Comics. Someone may set it as a wallpaper on their phones. And if you see my phone, it's full of African wallpapers. You can see that I have the Maasai warrior. I have like, my phone is basically Africanized. And every phone that is shipped to Africa is made up of wallpapers from Dubai. So this is an initiative to put our Afrocentric artwork together and actually have a use for them. People can now set phone themes based on African, like an African creative's artwork. And automatically, when someone pays for a wallpaper in the app, the artist gets paid.
Wow.
So automatically, every artist will have a way to live.
Yes.
Right? So even if you don't have work, you can submit your stuff on the app. And that's a sign of how a game industry or how a game company can buy your artwork. So this is the first step. We are building other games and we are looking for other creatives to work with. Another opportunity which I'll drop here for all artists is I make games. I use artifact or sprites, images.
Images.
Online, free imagery of if I want a gun, an axe, a shirt. People have produced a lot of such artwork and put online, and they are selling $5, $2.
That's true.
In the Africa space, we don't
nothing.
have any artists creating batakari, creating a henema, like as small artwork or as a sprite pack. To encourage an African game company, if you want to make a game, you can buy a sprite pack of batakari, which is made up of batakari, hat, and maybe an axe or something. So this is an opportunity for an artist somewhere in KNUSU or somewhere. Start creating all these things. Spend time. Don't be looking at the money. Spend your valuable time. Put it out there. The game company is rising. More people are making games. They will start searching for such artworks,
and they need it.
You will come in the limelight, and that's how you can make money. So you can see already how I've identified the revenue points for you if you embrace STEAM. You understand? So once arts and science combine, different opportunities are going to spring up. You will meet people telling you, I'm an AI designer in game company. Some will tell you, I'm an eyelash designer in a game. Like that is true. That is how I want this like this industry to become. Before we started, you saw people giving us powder.
Exactly.
They should be able to call themselves engineer. Because they know the process of how a set
is supposed to be done.
Though they are just the people who do the makeup. That is the essence of STEAM.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now it's true with this thing about Africa not having a lot of content. One thing I also really struggle with is images of Africans. You go online and you're searching for free photos, and all you see are Western images. But we have so many wonderful places here
that you can put online.
So many wonderful teams we have. We don't have images of them. Yes. I searched for team, and I was using and I added Africa. I didn't find anything. The only things you can really find on Africa is safaris, hangar, all those things. But that is really bad.
And that's, even that is put there by BBC and CNN. That is why you find them.
National Geographic, they'll come and take this.
Yeah, and take it. And instead of taking the juicy
life
parts.
Yes.
And even photography is what even marvels. Look at, if you Google pharmacy or pharmacy pictures online now, everyone is white, smiling. The pharmacy is the friendliest picture. Person. Oh, buy this drug. Yes. These drugs are spring, and you see a white man smiling on it nicely. Yes. The blacks should, black is beautiful.
It's true.
So if you're a photographer, post your imagery online. Yes. Just put your name there, or even for free for now. Yes. For now, look, the pie is so big that every idea you claim or you think you have has already been thought of somewhere.
It is true.
So just put content, populate, with time you spring
the benefits. Yes.
You understand? Yes. So I definitely agree with with you.
Yeah. So what about industry and academia? How can they really partner in order to, from a STEAM perspective?
So I think I described one before. Yes. So academia is the backbone of industry.
True.
Trust me.
That is true.
If there will be change, academia has to change.
Yes.
Currently, as I speak, I have about 10 dissertations written about Leti Arts.
Okay.
All from foreign universities.
Wow.
Not a single local university. Legon MBA, say Jimpa is here, has walked to me, MBA student, that I want to spend 5 months with you to see your processes and document for my thesis.
Okay.
You understand? Not a single person. Everyone is doing the same old thing.
Yes.
But even as I speak next month, 3 research persons, one from University of, like a Denmark university is coming, another from Dartmouth. They are coming to spend time and write again.
Wow.
Some even come and document my life as their thesis.
Wow.
I get it.
I get it.
The point I'm trying to say is that industry is changing very fast. Tech is rising. Africa has to own the space. So the first partnership is to put research, let researchers start owning the inception of
these technologies.
Great technologies on the continent. Just write about them. You can write 10 researchers about the same thing and it still be in our archives. That's one way, and it's the easiest because industry wants to be written about. Like for me, anyone who says he wants to do it, say, come, God, I want credibility for my industry. I want, if people type gaming in Africa, it should even show up on Google Scholar.
Yes.
University of Ghana, this. Yes. So that is what we want for all the various industries. So that's the first part. Bridging research, academia researching about all the uprising technical industries. Those doing robotics, it can be as tiny as even the one building the vortic bottles, or just to document that process.
Yes.
The other part is also writing about entrepreneurs on the continent and supplying it to the students of the university. There should be a conscious approach to that, because Africa is rising. We want to be great, but we want to sell local success stories. So the reason why I launched my book last year was, I've done this for so long. Every interview, I've done interviews several times, all asking me about the same thing. So how did you start? How did you start? It's time I put literature, and then when I meet you, we can have forward-thinking conversations about the industry, because you might have already read how I met my co-founder and how it's going. So you can now start asking me next questions. So so in your book I realized that you built this and that. How is it going? Then then the industry will progress. So we need to put literature, because as much as industry is growing, so much literature. So writers, people in the universities who are doing English, literature, School of Arts, start writing about local entrepreneurs. And when you publish the book or a publication, you just tell them, hey, I made this about you. You understand? That becomes encouragement for thousands of students who are going to be admitted within the university. And they will end and then also start the same kind of industries. So those are the ways to partner. Before you can now partner on the technology bit of it, where universities build and then industry acquires and pays you money. So we need to, I'm talking from the nitty-gritty, like the easiest way that will cost you no money but credit. Those are the things I'm mentioning. You understand? So trust me, I really think that our universities and academia on this continent should consciously
come together.
Yes, academia and industry should consciously come together and work hand in hand. There's a saying, like anytime I travel to out or give a talk at Harvard or MIT, it's not that I don't want to go to MIT and do my master's or anything. I've gathered so much data now. What I'm living is my life, it's my master, it's my research, right? And I tell people that as soon as I go to MIT, Kenyan UST will vanish. Everyone will start saying, oh, the MIT graduate.
MIT graduate.
Oh, MIT alumni. What
true.
gives me fulfillment now is the Kenyan UST I have on my CV.
It's true.
I've mounted platforms like Stanford, MIT, Harvard. But when people shake me, oh, I went to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, I did computer science. Then they'll be like, because they assume that you went to Harvard or MIT. So they are, but when they see that you are from KNUST, then they see that, oh, okay, our education institutions also have some.
Yes, they can do something.
They can do something.
Yes.
So I want to see more of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to see more of that.
That's a very nice goal, and I never thought about it that way. So when I looked at your LinkedIn profile, I was like, why? Okay. So now I
that's the reason. And I even tell my friends that I will start my own university and graduate within my own university.
that would be nice.
You know, and it's when you are living your passion, you actually document it as you go.
Yes.
Like, it's fun for you. You know exactly where you want to be. And all that I've said, I've written a whole research paper about it already. Like, I have my data, I have my research. It is realistic.
Okay.
I've featured in dissertations, countless masters in Oxford and all. It's like, it's there.
Yes.
Is the paper that I'll put on my name. And I'm starting STEAM Africa. STEAM Africa will become a university. You know, like, you need to, and I'm working with professors, I'm working with expertise. It's leveraging stuff. True. I'm focusing on my technical bit of it. So you have to know your purpose and live with it.
True. It's true.
When it gets to a point where you need the certificate, you have the evidence, you have everything. You can just enroll into a PhD program and execute it for a reason. Not for like just for having a master's or a PhD. You should specialize for a reason. And Africans need more of that. We need more people who are doing stuff for a reason. Yes, and that's what I believe.
That's really fine, and I'm inclined to lean towards your beliefs very soon. Wow, that's nice. So, Mr. Eyram, do you have any last words for an upcoming student, for a lecturer who is watching you, for a VC who just saw this interview and was like, wow, how can I help? Or someone from industry who wants to help. What last words do you have for them?
So my last words actually is that you should know that education is the basis for change. If we want to see anything happen, it starts from the educational level. And encouraging strengths of students is the way to go now. It's not a matter of scaring them of how difficult a certain course may be. If you are a lecturer, there are ways or fun ways and to simplify concepts. If there's a concept which is abstract, there is industry here in Africa or Ghana that is making it work. Let the students intern with those industries, or invite the professionals to come and run boot camps, just 1 hour boot camp or 2 hours boot camp within your class. That alone can expose them to some of the technicalities. Sometimes I wish I should go back to SSS, because I know the physics that I was doing, the matrices, the transformation, that's what I do in my games now. And now I understand it more. I know Pythagoras' theorem is now, because I use it to shoot a bird in a game. If I want to shoot a bird, I look at the hypotenuse against the adjacent, get the magnitude before I propel. You know, so those form of practical expositions are critical for the students. If you're a student, please think outside the box. Be very innovative. Keep innovating and keep the right circles around you. Look for internships. Look for upcoming entrepreneurs to help shape your career. You need a mentor. Everyone needs a mentor. So if you're a student, look for a mentor. If you are like a policy maker and either president, or I will tell you one scenario. In Finland, there was a company called Supercell. They were given $6 million from the Turkish Fund. Turkish Fund is the Finnish government fund, as investment in 2012. In 2017, they make $2 billion from just one game. And they paid $147 million in taxes. So $6 million for just 5 years made them $147 million with just one game, Clash of Clans. Supercell is the biggest company now in the gaming industry. So this is just a scenario. The government has to make a conscious effort to support the local industry that's bringing. And we will have the capacity to absorb more of the students and create job opportunities for them. So those are my last words to everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eyram Akofa Tawia. This has been a very wonderful and exciting discussion today on STEAM versus STEM and how we can use it as Africans to further the gaming industry and also to help educate our students differently to help them learn more. Thank you. Thank you very much for
Thank you for having me.
Right, viewers, thank you very much. And we hope to see you again on another edition of AAU Talks on AAU TV. And please keep subscribed on the Facebook channels and the Twitter accounts. And hope to see you soon. Goodbye.